morning students, welcome to Shiv Jyoti Educational Group Kota. This is Barkha Gaur, your biology teacher. How are you students? I hope you all are very fine and doing well at your homes. Students, today in this video we are going to revise chapters 7 and 8. We are taking two chapters together. Chapter 7 is structural organization in animals and chapter 8 is cell, the unit of life. So, we have combinedly we are going to revise these the important points of these chapters and the question answers of your book exercise. So, to students, let us begin with the chapter 7 and open your books, page number 100, chapter 7, structural organization in animals. So, this is the chapter which is some of the points, some of the topics of this chapter are being deleted also, which I have already informed you. That means the morphology and anatomy of 3 animals, that is frog, earthworm and cockroach, that portion has been deleted. The portion which we have to study only is the tissue part. So, animal tissues we are going to revise in this chapter. So, open page number 100. So, we begin with animal tissue. The animal tissues are mainly of 4 types: epithelial, connective, muscular and neural tissues. So, we will revise one by one. Number 1 is epithelial tissue. So, epithelial tissue are covering the whole body from outside also, and the internal organs are also lined by these epithelial tissue. These cells are flat, of different shapes, but they are very close to each other and there is no intercellular space between them, and they are found in the various organs. So, we will study about them one by one. First one is simple epithelium. So, you can open your book, page number, I told you that page 101. In this you will find the topic epithelial tissue. You can see that there are 2 kinds of epithelial tissues, simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Now, the difference is what? Simple epithelial tissues are made up of only single layer of cells, whereas compound epithelium are made up of different layers, 3-4 layers may be there, such as in the skin. Okay. So, now number 1, first type of simple epithelium is squamous epithelium, which is found, you can see on page 101, the lower paragraph, second paragraph mein, the squamous epithelium is a single thin layer of epithelial, and you have to remember what? You have to know, you should know the location and function of these cells. So, these cells are found in the walls of blood vessels and air sacs of lungs. So, all these are the location of these cells, and they perform the function of, means they form a diffusion boundary. Okay. Second is cuboidal epithelium. So, you can see the diagrams of this tissues also, page 101, figure 7.1. Different figures are given which are showing, just say A is squamous epithelium, B is cuboidal, C is columnar and D is columnar cell bearing cilia. So, we are discussing cuboidal epithelium. क्यूबॉइडल एपिथेलियम सेल्स जो हैं, टिश्यूज हैं, ये क्यूब शेप के हैं, क्यूबॉइडल हैं, एंड देयर लोकेशन इज दे आर फाउंड इन द डक्ट्स ऑफ ग्लैंड्स and tubular parts of nephrons in kidneys, and their main function is secretion and absorption. Third is columnar. Columnar are very tall cells, slender, pillar like इनका structure है, and they are found in the lining of stomach and intestine, and they also help in secretion and absorption. If cilia is present in cuboidal and columnar, अगर इन दोनों में cilia present होते हैं जो कि movement of particles या movement of substances में help करते हैं, तो if cilia are present तो columnar या cuboidal ciliated हो जाता है, ठीक है, then those tissues will be called as ciliated columnar या ciliated cuboidal. Next we come to page number 102 in which different other topic is given, that is glandular epithelium is also there, which is found in the glands, जैसे salivary glands हैं, they secrete different substances like saliva, ear wax, okay, milk, all these secretions are secreted by these glands, and the cells which are present in them are called glandular epithelium. Now we can see that glands are of 2 types, endocrine and exocrine glands. So glands which have ducts, they are called exocrine glands, like pancreatic duct. Pancreas जो है वो exocrine and endocrine both work करता है, पर जैसे salivary glands हैं, okay, these are the exocrine gland, and the glands which contain hormones and they do not have duct are called endocrine glands. So on this basis it can be categorized into like this. Compound epithelium we have discussed. Now we will see about the connective tissue. Connective tissues are also found in animals. Basically connective tissue has two things in them, that is, one is matrix and other is the cell. So matrix is the base part of the tissues which may be solid or which may be liquid. Like in blood, the matrix is liquid, plasma, in which different cells are floating. Now you see, connective tissues can be divided into three categories: loose connective tissues, dense connective tissue and specialized connective tissues. So we have categorized on the basis of their matrix. जिनका matrix loose है, जिनका dense है या जिनमें कुछ special type of matrix present है. The loose connective tissue again are of two kinds. There are two examples of this, that is areolar tissue and adipose tissue. You can see in your book on page number 103. 103 पर देखेंगे आप second paragraph में loose connective tissues have given, two examples are given, areolar tissue and adipose. Areolar tissue and adipose both are lying under the skin, and areolar tissue help to support the framework of the body for epithelium, and they produce some cells like bast fibers, macrophages and mast cells. So these kinds of cells are produced by them. And adipose tissue का main function है to store fat. It also lie under the skin या beneath the skin. So these are the two special tissues which are categorized under loose connective tissue. Second is dense connective tissue, dense regular and dense irregular. So dense means their density is more. Dense regular का आप diagram देख सकते हो, figure 7.5, in which the fibers are lying parallel to each other, मतलब properly arranged है, parallelly arranged है. For example, tendons and ligaments, है ना, last paragraph में आप देखो, tendons and ligaments are the examples of dense regular connective tissue. Now tendons का क्या function है? They connect muscles to bones and ligaments connect bone to bone. So these are the two kinds of loose dense regular connective tissue, and dense irregular connective tissue का example है skin. Okay, then specialized connective tissue देखें जिसमें आपका cartilage, bone and blood, these three will come under specialized connective tissue. So cartilage, bone and blood we will see in the next slide. So let us see about cartilage. Come on page number 104. 104 पे आपको figure given है 7.6. You can refer to the figure जिसमें cartilage और bone cells भी बताए हुए हैं. तो कार्टिलेज कैसा सब्सटेंस है? सॉफ्ट सब्सटेंस है, प्लायबल है, मीन्स वी कैन ट्विस्ट, जैसे हम कान पकड़ के मरोड़ लेते हैं ना, तो इट इज फ्लेक्सिबल काइंड ऑफ टिश्यू, इट इज नॉट हार्ड एंड इट इज प्रेजेंट इनसाइड आवर बॉडी ऑल्सो. समटाइम्स जैसे बोन्स के बीच में जो जॉइंट्स हैं वहाँ पे भी ये कार्टिलेज प्रेजेंट होता है, या टिप ऑफ द नोज, हमारे एक्सटर्नल ईयर में कार्टिलेज प्रेजेंट है. देन बोन, इट इज हार्ड एंड नॉन प्लायबल, वी कैन नॉट बेंड इट, तो ये बहुत हार्ड रहता है, एंड इट इज मेनली मेड अप ऑफ कैल्शियम. देन वी सी डायग्राम में आप देख सकते हो, कॉन्ड्रोसाइट्स आर द सेल्स ऑफ कार्टिलेज एंड ऑस्टियोसाइट्स आर द सेल्स ऑफ बोन. देन कम्स ब्लड. ब्लड इज द also connective tissue because it helps to transport material from one part of the body to another, like food, oxygen and vitamins या waste material, सबको ये transport करता है. And the components of the blood are plasma, जो कि liquid part blood का है, red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. These are the parts of the blood. Now we will revise muscular tissue. Muscular tissue में actually मसल फाइबर्स होते हैं. इट इज मेड अप ऑफ मसल फाइबर्स जिनको मायोफाइब्रिल्स भी कहते हैं, एंड दे आर ऑफ थ्री काइंड, स्केलेटल, स्मूथ एंड कार्डियक मसल फाइबर्स. स्केलेटल आप डायग्राम देखो पेज 105 पे, फिगर 7.7. तो थ्री काइंड्स ऑफ टिश्यूज आर गिवन, मस्कुलर टिश्यूज आर गिवन, स्ट्रिएटेड, नॉन स्ट्रिएटेड एंड कार्डियक. तो स्केलेटल जो मसल्स हैं, स्केलेटल मसल्स आर ऑल्सो नोन एज स्ट्रिएटेड क्योंकि लाइट एंड डार्क बैंड्स प्रेजेंट हैं, स्ट्रिएशंस हैं, और ये मल्टी सेलुलर टिश्यू है. स्मूथ मसल्स आर वेरी स्मूथ इन स्ट्रक्चर, दैट मीन्स नो स्ट्रिएशंस आर देयर. अच्छा, स्केलेटल मसल्स कैन बी, वी कैन यूज देम अकॉर्डिंग टू आवर विश, हम अपनी इच्छा से उनको मूव कर सकते हैं, इसलिए उनको वॉलंटरी मसल्स भी कहते हैं. स्मूथ मसल्स को हम अपनी मर्जी से मूव नहीं कर सकते हैं, इसलिए ये इनवॉलेंट्री मसल्स हैं. देन कार्डियक मसल्स आर एक्सक्लूसिवली दे आर प्रेजेंट इन द हार्ट, which are also not under our control. And the last tissue is neural tissue, that is the neuron, जो जिसका functional part क्या है, neuron, that is nervous tissue which is made up of neuron. कहाँ मिलेगा ये हमें? In the brain, spinal cord and nerves में ये tissue मिलता है. Now what is the, how does it work and what is the function? It works, किस तरह से work करता है? जैसे stimulation के बेसिस पे जैसे ही कोई एनवायरनमेंट में कोई चेंजेस होते हैं तो इट विल रिस्पॉन्ड टू इट, इट विल टेक इन्फॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम द सराउंडिंग एंड इट विल सेंड द मैसेज टू द ब्रेन एंड ब्रेन विल इंस्ट्रक्ट अस टू डू द वर्क अकॉर्डिंगली. तो ये है हमारे टिश्यूज. ठीक है, यू कैन रेफर इन योर बुक फिगर 7.8 फॉर न्यूरल टिश्यू. तो ये वर्क कैसे करता है न्यूरल टिश्यू? स्टिमुलस एंड रिस्पॉन्स के बेस पे. So these were the important points of chapter 7. Now we will discuss some of the important questions of this chapter. So children, for question answers open page number 122. Actually the exercise is starting from page 121, but we are going to discuss only few questions because some of the questions are being removed along with the deleted portion. तो जो questions हम discuss कर रहे हैं उनमें से we are starting with question number 6. What are the cellular components of blood? अभी हमने समझा था कि blood के components क्या है? Plasma, which is the liquid part of the blood, then WBC, RBC and platelets. So different these parts function differently. RBC, which are also known as erythrocytes, and they are biconcave in shape, and they the main function is to carry oxygen with them. और इसी में hemoglobin pigment भी present होता है जो कि carrier है oxygen का. It carries oxygen. Then WBC, which is also known as white blood cells, और इसको हम ल्यूकोसाइट्स भी कहते हैं. ल्यूकोसाइट्स, they are of two types, granulocytes and agranulocytes, जिनको भी हमने और कैटेगराइज किया हुआ है. And they are the main function of them is to defend, to fight against the disease causing microbes. तो ये जो भी हमारी बॉडी में कोई एंटीजेंस एंटर करते हैं उनको किल करता है. And they are also both RBC, WBC and all kinds of blood cells are produced in bone marrow. Then platelets, which are also known as thrombocytes, they are very small colorless fragments and they do not have nucleus, and their main function is blood clotting. Whenever some injury takes place, कोई हमारे बॉडी में कट लग जाता है तो ब्लड निकलना बंद हो जाता है थोड़ी देर बाद, तो दैट मीन्स ब्लड हैज़ बीन क्लॉट. तो क्लॉटिंग का काम करते हैं प्लेटलेट्स. देन next question is what are the following and where do you find them in the animal body? तो ये कुछ different kinds के सेल्स हैं, जैसे कॉन्ड्रोसाइट्स. अभी मैंने समझाया था आपको कार्टिलेज के सेल्स को कॉन्ड्रोसाइट्स कहते हैं. तो कॉन्ड्रोसाइट्स आर द सेल्स ऑफ हेल्दी कार्टिलेज एंड दे आर फाउंड इन स्मॉल कैविटीज विद इन द मैट्रिक्स सिक्रीटेड बाय देम. एग्जाम्पल्स, द कार्टिलेज आर फाउंड इन नोज, ऑन नोज, टिप ऑफ नोज एंड एक्सटर्नल ईयर. They are also found in joints between the bones. Axon, अभी हम न्यूरल टिश्यू डिस्कस कर रहे थे. तो न्यूरल टिश्यू के मेन जो पार्ट्स होते हैं वो है सेल बॉडी, है ना. सेल बॉडी में न्यूक्लियस होता है एंड सम ब्रांच स्ट्रक्चर प्रेजेंट है जिसको डेंड्राइट्स कहते हैं. एंड वन ऑफ द डेंड्राइट जो है एलोंगेटेड है, एक्सटेंड हो रहा है, जिसको हम एक्सॉन कहते हैं. तो एक्सॉन इज द पार्ट ऑफ द नर्वस टिश्यू विच कैरी इम्पल्सेस, जो मैसेजेस को कैरी करेगा. तो दीज आर कॉल्ड एक्सॉन्स एंड दे हेल्प टू सेंड मैसेजेस बाय कंडक्टिंग इलेक्ट्रिकल इम्पल्सेस फ्रॉम न्यूरॉन्स, दैट इज सेल बॉडी से मैसेजेस को कन्वे करेगा टू द, एंड दे आर प्रेजेंट इन ब्रेन, स्पाइनल कॉर्ड एंड नर्व्स. नेक्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन इज सीलिएटेड एपिथेलियम. तो सीलिएटेड एपिथेलियम, जब कॉलमनर या क्यूबॉइडल सेल में सीलिया प्रेजेंट होगा तो वो कहलाएंगे सीलिएटेड एपिथेलियम. एंड दे हेल्प इन द मूवमेंट ऑफ पार्टिकल्स, या म्यूकस को मूव करने में, म्यूकस की हेल्प से किसी एक डायरेक्शन में मटेरियल को मूव करने में हेल्प करते हैं. एंड दे आर प्रेजेंट इन द इनर सरफेस ऑफ हॉलो ऑर्गन्स लाइक ब्रोंक्यूल्स एंड फैलोपियन ट्यूब्स. द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, distinguish between simple epithelium and compound epithelium, which we have just discussed now. कि simple epithelium made up of one layer of cells, compound epithelium has more than two layers. Simple epithelium provide lining for body cavities, ducts, and the compound epithelium provide protection, जैसे कि skin में होता है. Their simple epithelial cells are found in ducts of glands, tubules of nephrons, walls of blood vessels, air sacs of lungs, etc. And they are found on skin surface, buccal cavity, pharynx, salivary glands and pancreatic ducts. Second difference between है cardiac muscles and striated muscles में. अभी मैंने आपको समझाया था cardiac muscles are found in heart. They are involuntary हैं, हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं है, and they have very light striations. जबकि striated muscles में light and dark bands हैं, जिसकी वजह से उसमें striations दिखते हैं. They are voluntary in nature, means हमारे कंट्रोल में है. We can move according to our wish, and they are found in hands and legs like biceps और triceps जो muscles हैं, उनमें ये striated muscles present होती हैं. Dense regular and dense irregular. तो dense regular में जो fibers हैं वो parallelly arranged हैं, irregular में they are not arranged parallelly. Other difference between adipose tissue and blood tissue. तो adipose tissue में fat store होता है, blood tissue में blood cells हैं. Adipose tissue semi fluid in nature है और blood tissue is fluid मतलब liquid है. Adipose tissue are specialized to store fat, जबकि blood tissue में it helps to transport in the transportation of the waste, gases and hormones from one part of the body to the another. Then simple gland and compound gland. Simple gland, which is also known as unicellular gland, and compound gland is multicellular gland. It consists of isolated glandular या secretory cells present होते हैं इसमें, जबकि इसमें cluster of glandular cells present होते हैं. Example of simple gland is goblet cells of alimentary canal, and example of compound gland is salivary gland. Various types of epithelial tissues जो अभी हमने सारे discuss किए थे, तो go through it by yourself. We have discussed just now all types of epithelial tissues. तो आपको इसमें क्या learn करना है, एक तो इनकी location और function, and you have to practice for the diagram also. So children, these were the some of the important questions of this chapter. Please go through them, revise them properly, and practice for the exams. So